Om Shanti, 29th of October 2024, Morning Murli, Baptada, Madhuvan. Essence, sweet children, remove the rubbish of the vices from your souls and become pure flowers. Only by having remembrance of the Father will all the rubbish will be removed. Sweet children, remove the rubbish of the vices from your souls and become pure flowers. Only by having remembrance of the Father will all the rubbish be removed. Question: in which one aspect do you children who are becoming pure have to follow the Father? In which one aspect do you children who are becoming pure have to follow the Father? Answer: the Father is supremely pure and doesn't mix with souls who become impure with rubbish. He remains very scared. Similarly, you children who are also becoming pure have to follow the Father. See no evil. Om Shanti. The Father sits here and explains to you children. Both are fathers. One is called the spiritual father and the other is called a physical father. The body of both is one, and so it is as though both fathers are explaining. Although one explains and the other understands, it would still be said that both are explaining. There is so much dirt that has accumulated on such a tiny soul. So much loss is incurred when dirt is accumulated. This profit and loss is visible when souls are in their bodies. You know that when we souls become pure, we will receive bodies that are as pure as those Lakshmi and Narayan. So much dirt is now accumulated on souls. When honey is collected, it is filtered and so much rubbish is removed and the poor honey is separated. Souls too become very dirty. This soul was clean and completely pure and his body was so beautiful. Look how beautiful the bodies of Lakshmi and Narayan are. People only worship bodies. They don't see the souls. They have no recognition of a soul. At first, souls were beautiful and they received pure bodies. You too now wish to become like them. So, you souls have to become that pure. A soul is said to be tamopradhan because it is full of rubbish. It has the rubbish of body consciousness and also that of lust and anger. In order to remove the rubbish from something, it is filtered. When something is filtered, its color changes. If you sit and think about this very well, you will feel that there is a lot of rubbish within you. There's the extensions of Ravan in souls. By your staying in remembrance of the Father now, the rubbish will be removed. This too takes time. The Father explains, because of having body consciousness, there is so much rubbish of the visor. The rubbish of anger is no less. It is as though an angry person burns within. His heart burns due to one thing or another. His face also becomes red as copper. You souls now understand that you have become burnt. You now know how much dirt there is in souls. There are very few people who understand these things. First class flowers are needed for this. There are many defeats now. You have to remove all weaknesses and become completely pure. This Lakshmi and Narayan are so pure. In fact, no one has the right to touch them. Impure ones cannot go and touch such elevated, pure deity idols. They are not worthy of touching pure ones. No one can touch Shiva. He is incorporeal, and so he cannot be touched. He is the most pure. People keep a large image of him because no one can touch such a tiny point. When a soul enters a body, the body grows. The soul doesn't become larger or smaller. This is a world of rubbish. There is so much rubbish in souls. Shiv Baba is very scared. He is very pure. Here, everyone is made out to be the same. They even say to one another, "You are like an animal." Such language is not used in the Golden Age. You souls now feel that a lot of dirt has accumulated on you. Souls are no longer worthy of having remembrance of the Father. Maya also considers souls to be unworthy and pushes them aside. The Father is so scared. Look what we souls have become from what we were. The Father now explains, "You called out to me to come and make souls pure." Souls are filled with a lot of rubbish. Not, not all flowers in a garden are first class. They are number wise. The Father is the master of the garden. Souls become pure and then become so dirty. They become like thorns. There is the rubbish of body consciousness, lust, and anger in souls. Human beings have so much anger in. When you become pure, you won't feel like looking at anyone's face. See no evil. You mustn't even look at impure beings. When souls become pure and receive pure new body, they don't see any rubbish at all. This world of rubbish ends. The Father explains, "You have become such rubbish by becoming body conscious. You have become impure." Children call out, "Baba, I have an evil spirit of anger." Baba, I have come to you to become pure. You know that the Father is ever pure. People defame the highest authority so much by calling him omnipresent. You also dislike yourself so much because you can see what you were and what you have now become. Only your children understand these things. No one else can explain this aim or objective in any other spiritual gathering or university, etc. You children now understand how souls have continued to accumulate rubbish. There was a reduction of 2 degrees and then 4 degrees, and souls continue to be filled with rubbish in this way, and this is why they are called Tamopradhan. Some burn with greed and some burn with attachment and die. They will burn and die in that stage. Your children now have to shed your bodies in remembrance of Shiv Baba, who is making you become like them. The Father made Lakshmi and Narayan become like that. So you have to remain very careful. Many storms will come. There are only storms of Maya, there are no other storms. Similarly, they have stories of Hanuman, etc. in the scriptures. God granted salvation, so why would he need to write scriptures? The Father says, "Hear no evil." You cannot become elevated through those scriptures, etc. I am separate from all of those. No one recognizes me. No one knows what the Father is. The Father knows who does his service, that is, only those who become benevolent and benefit others climb onto the Father's heart. Some are such that they don't even know about service. You children have received this knowledge of considering yourselves to be souls and of remembering the Father. Although you souls become pure, your bodies are still impure. There's a difference of day and night between the activity of souls who become pure and those who don't. It can also be known from their behavior. No one's name is mentioned. If their names were mentioned, they might become even worse. You can now see the difference between what you were and what you have to become. Therefore, you have to follow Srimad. All the rubbish you are filled with has to be removed. In worldly relationships too, a father gets fed up with his children if they become very dirty. He would say that it would be better if he hadn't had a child like that. There is fragrance in a flower garden. However, according to the drama, there is also rubbish. No one even wants to look at un- no one wants to look at an arc flower. However, when you go into a garden, your vision would fall on all the flowers. The soul would say, "This one is such and such a flower." You would take fragrance from good flowers. The Father also sees how much some souls stay on the pilgrimage of remembrance. how pure they have become and how they make others pure like themselves, and how much of this knowledge they relate. The main thing is to be Manmana Bhav. The father says, remember me and you will become a pure flower. Lakshmi and Narayan were such a pure flowers. Shiv Baba is still more scared than that. People don't know that Shiv Baba made Lakshmi and Narayan become like that. You know that they become that by making this effort. The father explains a great deal. Firstly, you have to stay on the pilgrimage of remembrance so that the rubbish can be removed and you souls can become pure. Many people come to you at the museums, etc. Your children have to have a lot of interest in doing service. You mustn't renounce service and go to sleep. You have to remain very accurate in doing service. You people leave yourselves time for rest even at the museum. Your throats become tired and you do have to eat, but day and night you should have the enthusiasm inside yourselves to show the path to anyone who becomes. If people come during meal times, you have to attend to them first and then take your meal. You should be those who do such service. Some have a lot of body consciousness and they become lords who love to rest. The Father has to tell you, renounce this lordship. The Father would also grant visions. Look at your status. You yourself put the acts of body conscious on your foot. Many children compete with Baba. Oh, this is Shiv Baba's chariot and it has to be looked after. There are some here who take a lot of medicine from doctors. Baba says you have to keep your body healthy, but you also have to look at your stage. If you eat in remembrance of Baba, nothing will cause you any harm. By having remembrance, you will be filled with power. Your food will become very pure. However, you don't yet have that stage. Baba says the food prepared by Brahmins is the highest of all, but that is only when they prepare it while staying in remembrance. By preparing it in remembrance, those who prepare it will benefit, and those who eat it will also benefit. There are many who are like ox flowers. What status will those poor people claim? The Father has mercy for them. However, it is also fixed for some to become maids and servants. You mustn't become happy with that. So don't even think I have to become that. Instead of becoming maids and servants, it would be better if you become wealthy. You would then be able to have maids and servants. The Father says, constantly remember me alone and attain happiness by remembering me. Devotees sat and created the rosary to rotate. That is the work of devotees. The Father simply says, consider yourselves to be souls and remember the Father That's all. You don't have to chant mantras to turn rosaries. You have to know the Father and remember Him. You don't have to say Baba Baba with your mouth. You know that He is the unlimited Father of us souls. By remembering Him, He will become Sato Pradhan, that is, we souls will become pure. It is so easy. However, that is a battlefield. You have to battle with Maya. She repeatedly breaks your intellect's yoga. The more loving something intellect is at the time of distraction, the higher the status he climbs. You mustn't remember anyone except the one. In the previous cycle too, such ones emerged and became the beads of the rosary of victory. The rosary of Rudra is of Brahmins who belong to the Brahmin clan and who make a lot of incognito effort. This knowledge is incognito. The Father knows each one very well. Those who were considered to be very good ones are no longer here today. There's a lot of body consciousness and they are unable to have remembrance of the Father. Maya slaps them very hard. There are very few from whom the rosary can be created. Therefore, the Father still explains to you, children, continue to look at yourself as to how you were such pure deities, and then from those, how you became like rubbish. You have now found Shiv Baba, and so you have to follow his directions. You mustn't remember bodily beings. You mustn't remember anyone else. You mustn't even keep anyone's picture. Let there be remembrance of one Shiv Baba alone. Shiv Baba doesn't have a body of his own. I take this one temporarily on loan. He makes so much effort to make you into deities like Lakshmi and Narayan. The Father says, you invite me into his impure world. I purify you and you don't even invite me into the pure world. What, what would he do there? His service is to purify everyone. The Father knows that you have been so burnt and you have become like charcoal. The Father has come to make you beautiful. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the mother, the father, Baptada. The spiritual father says namaste to you, spiritual children. The spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dharna. 1. Remain very accurate in doing service. Let there be enthusiasm for doing this day and night. Never renounce service and go for a rest. Become as benevolent as the Father. Dharna number 1. Remain very accurate in doing service. Let there be enthusiasm for doing service day and night. Never renounce service and go for a rest. Become as benevolent as the Father. Number 2, become one with a loving intellect by having remembrance of the one and remove the rubbish from within you. Become a fragrant flower. Do not attach your heart to this world of rubbish. Become one with a loving intellect by having remembrance of the one and remove the rubbish from within you. Become a fragrant flower. Do not attach your heart to this world of rubbish. Blessing. May you stabilize your mind and intellect on the seat of your elevated state and become an embodiment of tapasya. May you stabilize your mind and intellect on the seat of your elevated stage and become an embodiment of tapasya. Baba's explanation. A tapasvi always does tapasya while seated on one or another seat. The seat of your tapasvi souls in your stable angelic state. To stabilize yourself in this elevated stage means to sit on your seat. A physical body sits on a physical seat, but you sit your mind and intellect on this elevated seat. Those tapasvis stand on one leg, whereas you stabilize yourselves in a constant and stable state. Theirs is Hatha Yoga, whereas yours is Easy Yoga. Slogan. You, the children of the Father, the one of ocean of love, remain full of the Ganges of love. Slogan. You, the children of the Father, the ocean of love, remain full of the Ganges of love. Om Shanti. Today's Avyak signal. Sanskars are all different and they will always be so. But it is up to you as to whether you have a conflict of sanskars or step away from them and keep yourself safe. If someone has sanskars of conflict, then the other person should not clap. It means work with them. Let each one change the self. Come in connection with one another with feelings of love and greatness. Pick up virtues from everyone, and the gathering of being united in one direction will be instrumental for God's revelation. Om Shanti.